What fact is ignored generously? Experience is not equal to competence. Do they have 20 years of experience, or 1 year of experience repeated 20 times? Nearly every hand you shake has held a penis. But everyone has touched a vagina. Just because a movie or a book is good, doesn't mean you like it. That's a good way to put it. You can appreciate that something is well written, good at engaging its target audience, etc. without actually liking the work yourself. And vice versa, of course. Yes, I know it's trash. Now let me get back to it. I told my sister this when she was trying to convince me to start watching Sex and the City. I was like, I get their snappy dialogue and all, but I am not the target demo for that show. Prevention is more affordable than treatment. Yup, like condoms are cheaper than Plan B. Dubiously related, every time the medical field finds a way to treat a condition, it just opens up the road to a harder to treat, more expensive condition. This applies to crime as well as healthcare. That we all have confirmation bias. In my studies I've found that I do not. Oh wait. This annoys me so much because I am a scientist, and so many scientists will act on their biases thinking they're being completely rational. And have trouble mixing subjective opinions with facts, especially when people are involved. Edit, people are focusing on the scientific results angle. While this is definitely a party of it, I will also highlight the extensive issues in how science is done relating to how minorities are treated in STEM, and how many argue these are not due to biases by scientists as if they're not capable of having them. Yeah, I have to remind myself frequently, you are not always right, you probably don't know what you're talking about as much as you think you do. Remember the Dunning-Kruger effect. This is most prevalent in online political discussion in my experience. Being at a job for a long time does not mean someone is good at their job. Coworker of mine used to say there is 10 years of experience and then there is 1 year of experience repeated 10 times. My former boss had been in his job for 12 years. That dude was checked the fuck out and somehow kept getting promoted just in time to make him stick around. Plus, he was too unmotivated to leave and just got complacent. He was a terrible boss, but when it really clicked for me was when I sat down for my yearly review, where I had been anticipating a promotion, and he said, "To be honest with you, I just didn't do this, I thought it was a waste of time." I went to his boss to alert him of the fact that my boss was not managing me effectively, and his response was, "Sounds like you should talk to him about that, not me." Then it suddenly became clear that all these people who had so much experience and time in their roles were really just using it as a shield or armor to not do a single thing. So yeah, time in a role means nothing. Human memory is extremely unreliable. We forget important details. We fabricate memories and convince ourselves that they're true. What we do remember is distorted to conform to our biases. When I was 5, my parents surprised my older sister and I with a trip to Disneyland really early in the morning before our flight. For years I had this memory of it happening and being so excited. They videotaped the whole thing, but we had lost the video for years. When we found it, I saw that I was actually asleep the whole time. I had completely made up the memory based on my sister and parents talking about it. I have terrible memory. I have friends I've known since childhood who will bring up things they all remember and it's just blank for me. My husband bring up something from when we were dating and I'll have no idea what he's talking about. I've found the majority of my memories revolve around photographs. And because of that, my memories often feel like they're third person. Memories are extremely unreliable, it's scary. I was going to comment something but I forgot what I wanted to say. From the HBO show The Outsider. Now, what's the definition of a witness? Someone who thought they saw something. Leads to a lot of innocent people put in prison. Humans overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what we can achieve in a year. The number of people who die after a war to consequences of war, hunger, disease, etc., are not counted in the statistics. Talking for France here, Some people who died between the 9th and the 11th of November 1918 were not counted as dead these days, because that would be quite awful for a family to learn that your husband/brother/son/father died the last day before the war stopped. Sometimes many times more as well. A large battle can kill tens of thousands, wars many times that, but disease can absolutely wreck countries. As an example of an underrated disease, the plague of Justinian is estimated to have killed 30 to 50 million people in a time when the human population was 100 million. No war, no matter how brutal, maybe except nuclear, can kill 30 to 50% of humanity. Admitting to a mistake is not a sign of weakness. Bending over backwards to cover it up and pretending like it never happened is. It's in your best interests too. If you don't own your mistakes, others will and may use them against you. In my adult life, the most valuable lesson I've learned has been to admit mistakes and try to learn from them. Bosses treat you so different when you come to the admitting what you did and telling them how you'll fix it. The problem is, and this is very relevant to corporate life, when you accept a mistake you are very quickly thrown under the bus by the assholes who are looking for a scapegoat. That just because someone tells you something is a fact doesn't mean that it is. Make sure to do your research. I'll take your word for it. Just because some people are naturally talented doesn't mean you shouldn't work hard. Hard work can beat talent when talent doesn't work hard, as my undergrad advisor was fond of saying. The importance of getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. To add to this, 7 to 9 hours of sleep is not the same as a 7 to 9 hour sleep opportunity window. If you're giving yourself a 7-hour sleep opportunity window, you are not getting 7 hours of sleep. Probably more like 6. The only people who generously ignore this fact are schools. Older doesn't always mean wiser. Wisdom is obtained from what you do with your time, it's not about how much time you've had. Just remember, stupid people get old too. Just because it's legally allowed doesn't mean you're not a douchebag for doing it. Example, free speech isn't freedom from consequence. You legally can say, near, whatever you want, doesn't mean people won't call you a dick for it. Mob mentality doesn't mean you are right. This needs to be higher. Will solve 85% of the world's problems. Edit, no. What have I done? Further edit, what's the opposite of an award? I should get that. Take notes, Reddit. You are not immune to propaganda. Fun word fact, the term propaganda originally referred to a Catholic Church committee for propagating the faith during the Counter-Reformation. This comment was brought to you by Big Etymology. Most people seem to think that free press equal no propaganda or no biased views, although free press is 1,000 times better than state-controlled fundamentally biased propagator media, it is still flawed. Inversely, not all propaganda is necessarily bad. If you got good ideas, spread 'em. Propaganda is literally the only way to do that. Everyone is a huge hypocrite when it suits them, including me. The irony of this statement is that if you're ever in a situation where being a hypocrite would suit you but you aren't a hypocrite, then you are a hypocrite because you said you would be but weren't. Giving birth to a kid doesn't make you an expert on raising them. Nor do they owe you for being born. A lot of people need to realize this. Also, we don't owe the parents. I don't mean our own, I mean Karen who shares that post of moms deserve to be first in line at Starbucks cause you just had to do homework last night while I had to put screaming kids to bed. It's not our fault you got pregnant. Wait in line like everyone else. This may be an unpopular opinion, but in my opinion, famous last words, you owe your kids everything. Literally speaking, they did not choose to be here. You did. It's the parents' responsibility to care for them. Through pretty much every stage of life, until you die. No, I don't mean feed and clothe them or baby them when they're in their 30s, which is how some people will inevitably read this. But as parents, it is your responsibility to train them to do these things for themselves. And if they fail? Guess who's to blame? The kids I grew up with are all old enough to be having kids now, and it's amazing to me how selfish an act it was/is for them. It shows in the way they regard/disregard their children and sickens me pretty regularly. And it gets better. They all learned it from their parents. I want to reiterate, your kids are your responsibility. Until you die. Period. You will never be on the same level as them. You are now, forever, going to be in a relationship with them in which you are their provider, their mentor, their disciplinarian. You are there to provide the support and structure for the rest of their lives. It's more daunting and perilous and important than most of the people I went to high school with were/are/ever will be prepared for. And while it's nice when they show an appreciation for what you do for them, you sure as hell don't deserve it. So stop acting like it. Thank you for watching this video. Can you add some facts to our piggy bank in the comments below? Is it easy for you to subscribe to our channel to be the first who will see a new video? And please enjoy yourself with the second part of this video.